So, stage 10, first day after rest day. I think it's 116 kilometers, fairly flat. But I've got my aero helmet on and my aero shoe covers on, and I've then got a baggy jacket on because it's windy today, really windy, like 30 kilometre an hour headwinds into Weston for the first section, into Weston Supermare, straight onto the coast. So I'm expecting it to be pretty breezy. And then we leave a team from a company called Micrima. I'm not actually sure how you pronounce it, Micrima or Micrima, who actually specialise in cancer detection software. My friend Elizabeth Blake works for them, and got in touch with me very early on and said, look, should we put a team together and make a donation? And they've donated a substantial amount of money actually to the cause, which is fantastic. And so a team of them, I think 5 or 6 of them, are going to be riding with me and Andy Gill as far as Weston, and then they're going to leave us and head back, and me and Andy are going to do the completion of the ride. So that'll be the ride. So I think, if I'm honest with you, I'm just going to put them on the front and get me and Andy to sit at the back all the way to Weston, fingers crossed, and then hopefully we might pick up some kind of tailwind. But those of you who ride a bike will know that you kind of never really get that tailwind. It never really pans out. It always feels like you're kind of like into a headwind for about 80% of it. So I've looked on the Windsock software this morning, and yeah, a lot of it is quite red and not much of it is kind of purple. So we'll see how we get on. Anyway, let's go. Andy,
back home.
And why are we here? Have we finished the ride?
Yes.
Why are we here, Andy?
We've got our water bottles.
When you say we, you mean?
Yes, the royal we, obviously, the collective.
Oh, don't say we, I need one.
Don't worry, we'll be out on the moors in a minute.
Welcome to...
So once again we're nearly home, 110k out of 116 done. So just a short little section of the moors to do to get home. I got completely lost out down towards Breen, not where we'd intended to ride at all. Completely missed the directions somehow, but it doesn't matter. Our local knowledge has got us back almost within a kilometre of where we should be. But that's not the story here today. The story here today really is the people we were riding with at the beginning. It's me and Andy left now, but for the first half of the ride, had the team from Micrima join us. CEO, commercial director, some of the team from R&D, and they were telling me all about the product that they're developing that will help diagnose breast cancer. Well, in the future, all sorts of cancers, but they're primarily focusing on breast cancer for now. They were explaining that there's this misconception really that breast cancer is sort of something that only affects people over 50, but because that's when the screening kicks in with the mammograms. But a mammogram is quite inefficient because of the density of breast tissue, so it's not a brilliant way of actually diagnosing breast cancer at all. Just that after the age of 50, breast tissue becomes a little thinner, it's easier to detect. So that's why they screen women with mammograms over 50. It's not because they're more at risk, it's just because it's easier to see whether they have anything amiss going on. So they've developed this piece of technology which is going through clinical trials at the minute, which uses radar. It was actually originally adapted from a piece of kit that they used to find landmines when they stopped using metal landmine casings to make it harder to detect. They started using a piece of radar equipment which they've adapted, and they're doing clinical trials with, and it's absolutely fascinating. What those people are doing will be cost effective. It will take about 1 minute and 6 seconds to do the test. It will take a day's training for somebody to do, rather than a specialism for somebody who's doing a mammogram or an MRI or an ultrasound, which is much more of a specialised thing. It will take a day to train somebody, and it will be a fraction of the cost. And it means that they can put these in doctors' surgeries and in treatment rooms all over the UK and get people screened and checked out very quickly and very efficiently, which should mean catching people with breast cancer much earlier. And to spend half the ride chatting to these people that are actually doing something on the front line, developing this piece of tech that will, you know, really will make a difference to people's lives when it eventually hits the surgeries and the treatment rooms around where we are. And it will save lives, because people will be diagnosed earlier, and that's the biggest thing. That's why we were lucky with Bex, and why some people aren't so lucky is catching it early. And that's the story really here today. It's been quite a journey, really, metaphorically and sort of physically. And in terms of the actual ride itself, it's been all right. Hasn't been much wind. Hasn't been much wind, is there, Andy? There hasn't been much wind, is there?
No, not at all.
Andy has blocked every bit of wind the whole way for me today, as per usual. Done an amazing job, and I've just enjoyed the tailwinds. We've got a bit of a tailwind now, and yeah, it's been fine. We've done, well, we're just shy of 116k now, just over 4 hours of riding. What's our average speed been, Andy? 26, that'll do. Not a bad day out. So tomorrow is going to be a bad day out, because I've got to go up Cheddar twice, because the pros are going up Ventoux twice. And so Cheddar is the classic climb sort of around our way, and Ventoux is the classic climb of Provence. So I thought, well, let's go up Cheddar twice. That seemed like a great idea in January, and now now it's tomorrow. Not quite such a good idea. But I have got 3 people riding with me, which sounds good, but they're all absolute beasts. I've got Stefan, don't laugh, Stefan like weighs about 2 kilos, ex-squaddy, sorry, ex-services, I shouldn't call him a squaddy, it doesn't do him justice. John Burridge, who did the TT with me, averaged 41 plus k an hour, he's not shabby. And then there's Sam Taberner. To put it into context, Sam Taberner runs a 31-minute 10k, and he's a GB athlete. So on paper, I've got 3 people riding with me, but in actual fact tomorrow, I think it'll be more a case of those 3 will have an albatross around their neck, climbing up these fabulous climbs tomorrow, or the fabulous climb twice. And I'll put my 34 1x1 gear to test tomorrow, and see how we get on. But that's tomorrow. It's been an eye-opening day. It's put into perspective what this money is going to be going towards, how it's going to help people, and save lives, I hope, and make a difference to the families of the people that need that help. Not a bad way to spend a bike ride, and it's not rained either. See you tomorrow.